We were not there during the night of conception, but I would not be surprised if Buddy goddamn happily, freely, and willingly shot that club the fuck up twice that night.
Oh my God.
What does willingly and
saying.
happily mean? Like people,
You ever had sex before?
we're talking about consent.
The fuck you mean? What are we talking about? What does happy and free and willing mean?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's pretty good.
These women that DiCaprio was fucking with, yeah, they willingly, freely, blah, 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 all of that shit. Relationships are far more complicated than a single sweaty decision made in a bedroom. They're so much more than that. And having a fucking baby is going to dictate what this man's life looks like when he's 50. He hasn't been through this. This is his first kid. It ain't hers. I'm not saying he's not intelligent. I'm saying she knows more about what this scenario means than him. She's coming in with a goal that he maybe hasn't fully considered, and that
it's a red flag.
Welcome to Waving the Red Flag, the number one musical critique and compartmentalization podcast in the world. I think that we do a very good job of keeping spheres separate. On
we
this
gotta
podcast.
separate the art from the artist, you know.
100%. Like we 100% have been doing a phenomenal job separating Eddie's on-air persona from his psychopathy. So we will continue to do that when we discuss this gospel
War
music
crimes, all that good stuff. Don't worry about it.
100%. So today we got Edward Overgo as usual. We got Josh looking great, phenomenal jacket. You know?
Nah, likewise, Mark. That color looks amazing on you. That really
this is actually my favorite hoodie, and it has like a hole in the sleeve, and I'm very upset.
Nah, that shit look brand new, my brother. But anyway,
burgundy.
I digress.
It's a very rich, rich burgundy kind of,
I really want a burgundy hoodie, but anyway.
Yeah. It's like
But-
slightly more red than the Morehouse burgundy. I feel like it's nice. It's like velvet almost.
Whoa! You trying to get us canceled? First of all, in Morehouse, it's maroon, my nigga.
My fault.
Look at it. You see that shit? You see that?
My fault.
The men
Aubergine. My fault.
The men of Morehouse and the Morehouse men are gonna fucking like take this shit down.
Are those separate groups?
Yeah. One's pre-graduation, one's post-graduation.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like, you know what I'm saying, crossing the burning sands and being paper.
Gotcha.
Facts. But before we get too deep into it, our illustrious guest cannot go too much further without introducing the illustrious Pastor Kristian A. Smith.
The holy man. Clergy,
Yo, somebody called me Rev today who I didn't tell. I was like in ministry and it made me nervous as hell. I was like, how did you find that out? Because, I don't introduce myself like that.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's like you walk like a cop. We can tell.
You're like, what's up, Rev? I was like, Rev?
What the fuck?
How did you know? Come on, man. Come on.
Wait a minute. What was their explanation on how they knew? Did they just say like you just like move in a reverently fashion?
I've seen him in a suit. He look like a reverend. Definitely. I ain't never seen you in a suit and not been like, yeah, that he preaches. That's look at the shoes. Look at the shoes. He preaches. Come on.
Nah, man. Nah, it like he's one of my neighbors. So I've seen him around the neighborhood for almost 4 years now. And today, for the first time, he called me Rev, and I'm like, how, Sway? So Pamela was like, he probably seen you in the social media feed. And put it together like that. I don't introduce myself. Yeah, I don't introduce myself like that. Because people come up with preconceived notions about me when they find that out. So I would rather them just get to know me and then down the line find out that's what I do. Then they become more curious rather than treat me with contempt.
Yeah.
So they start asking questions like, wait a minute now, you a reverend, but we've been sitting here cussing for the last hour. You a reverend, but we having something to drink. You a reverend, but you're not judging me. You know what I'm saying? So then they get curious. But if I just come out and introduce myself,
people lock up.
They lock up, and I'm like, look, you don't have to, censor yourself around me. You don't have to do all of this stuff. And
I do think that's the issue with labels. Because, like, when you identify as, like, this label or that label, people start responding to what they think that thing is and all the other people they've heard associated with whatever that thing is. And so then you're having to fucking backpedal and re-educate on whatever it is you actually are. That's for any label. If you say you're a, I don't know, politically, if you say, "Oh, you're a leftist or a communist or whatever," you know.
Yeah, yeah, all the time. So, like, even when it comes to political stuff, like, you're a liberal, you're a leftist. Like, look, I want everybody to be okay. Whatever you call that, that's what I am. I want everybody to
Yes.
be okay. What does that look like?
You
What's the
fucking
label on
fence
that?
sitter. Can't
This
get mad at you for
motherfucker's
that
a
shit.
centrist.
I'm a centrist. I don't give a
Really a
fuck.
fascist.
All right.
I'm a left trending centrist. So I get it.
I didn't know
Okay,
that was a
interesting.
word for that. So that's amazing. Yes, that is.
I think you
exactly
just
what
made
the
it
fuck
up,
I am.
which is good.
I love it. I'm
No, like
I'm
no,
here
like
for it.
people definitely look at like the spectrum of political figures and utilize that similar terminology. Like a
That's
left-leaning
interesting. Yeah.
centrist would be Obama post, 2008, for example.
See, because I always find it like a little bit just not useful to identify as anything, because then people like, if like you say that and then people are like, oh, so therefore you must believe this, and it's like, well, no, not necessarily, because the left leaning part is these three issues and the centrist part is these other three issues. So it's like the label almost doesn't serve a function.
Fair enough. I will say the only thing that prevents me from being super leftist is that I'm actually pretty pro military spending, but
Pro
See, and I
arsenal.
think that's more useful than like left leaning centrist being like, I'm a leftist who happens to be like fall outside of what you think that means for this one area.
fair enough. Actually, that's fair. But
Yeah.
before we get too off the rails, we can have a whole separate episode on that shit. I
Facts,
do want to
facts,
circle back to the compartmentalization of not necessarily even just music, but also just media in general. The one point I wanted to call out is that there are 100% songs that may not necessarily make me want to rob or kill or anything. Because like a lot of DMX's music is that. Like if you really listen to the lyrics, it's about mobbing up. It's about him
yeah.
literally robbing people
Yes.
for sport almost, or survival, depending on when he released that track. So not that, but 100% like some Freddie Gibbs and Madlib type shit. 100% made me want to hit the bird line. Like I'm like, oh shit, like
Like
I can move a key right now after listening to Thuggin'.
like how genuinely do
And it
we
feels
mean
so
though?
good.
How genuinely do we
like-
mean though?
Fairly fucking genuine.
Like almost like I actually am gonna change jobs.
Getting the baking soda, got the stove ready and the microwave.
As soon as
Oh,
I find
man.
somebody with a fucking scorpion pack, like I am
Oh,
on the
man.
corner.
Alvin Breaking
Making
Bad would be the
moves.
craziest shit ever. Like just going
Yo,
from
he would be
like
a-
top tier corporate success to being like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm taking over the streets. He would
That
do
make
very
sense.
well.
Yeah, he
would.
would be
I
an
could tell.
excellent Heisenberg.
He would be a Gustavo Fring. Like I always think of him as kind of like a Gustavo Fring. Like him running like a major international chicken ring while also running a meth cartel seems on brand to me. And just being the
It wouldn't
calmest
surprise me. If
cucumber.
it wouldn't surprise me if he's doing that right now as we speak, and we just don't know it.
Yeah.
He's throwing us off the trail with this with this
You've
double
already-
fucking
Corporate,
You've
you
already,
know what I'm saying?
You've already
Yeah.
said too much, Christian. You've already said too much. I mean, and I think that, not to completely derail this shit, but we do got to pay some bills.
Speaking of which, you're trying to figure out the segue.
I know, right? The segue,
know,
that's
speaking
a
of-
tough one.
So insert segue here. There's a card game.
There we go. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Fuck it.
You know,
Smooth.
speaking of suffering, if you guys want to
Yeah.
do the exact opposite of suffering,
There you go.
Yeah.
if you guys want to have a rollicking good time and just like make
Enjoying
sure
yourselves.
that you're 100% dedicated to the hedonism and indulging in your pleasures,
Yes.
we do have a wonderful card game here. Joshua, I believe you want to pull that out, take us away here.
I absolutely do, my brother. Because suffering is what you will not be doing while messing around with these 52 plus prompts with infinite possibilities for conversation with Waving the Red Flags card game called It's a Red Flag. Yeah, thank you everybody who has already, copped the pack, been playing, you know what I'm saying? Because definitely I hope you all have been spicing up your game nights, your date nights, all that good stuff. If you have not already made a purchase, picked up your deck, You can do so by going to shop.wavingtheredflag.com and get your pack today. It's on pre-order. You know what I mean? So again, go to shop.wavingtheredflag.com, submit your pre-order, and that bit will be out to you expeditiously.
And I personally have been playing just with myself because I don't ever want anybody to catch me slipping, right? You know, I got to have answers.
Big facts.
100%. You know, I'm in the fucking living room just looking at it, like having my answers planned out already, you know, just in case. You know, I'm not going to be at the dinner party embarrassed, you know.
That's what you'd do if you were real.
100%. So Josh, you want to pull one? Pull us a good one?
Pull us a medium-sized one.
Ooh.
Yeah, medium-sized one.
A medium-sized
Perfectly
one.
normal.
I know, right? Well, I mean, there's so many big ones in here. You know what I mean? Like, we just big card energy throughout this podcast and deck.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Wide.
Damn, okay. Is it a red flag if they make way more money than you?
It's a green flag. The fuck? It's the greenest possible flag.
See, I think there's like a philosophical difference in like what we
Just
consider
fucking
to be.
fuchsia.
See, I feel like that's
Chartreuse, sensational.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
Fuchsia is purple, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
He trying to get too fancy
Cut
with
it
it.
out. Cut it out. I don't know
Chartreuse is
colors.
like-
I don't know colors,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I know Roy G.
Yeah.
Biv, man. Whatever.
Okay, got you. Yeah. No, and chartreuse is like a yellow green, but
Okay, that's actually what I was
like-
going for. Then keep that part though. Cut the other
Okay,
part. Keep
chartreuse
that part.
then, yeah.
There we go. Boom.
So I feel like there's this philosophical difference in like we're using red flag to mean bad behavior, and that's one way of thinking of a red flag, versus like an indicator of a potential problem. And I feel like that's the
You're 100% mansplaining red flag, like motherfucker. Like what you just described is what most people. consider a
because
red
I feel
flag.
like
I don't know.
Yeah,
I know, bro. They don't. No, they
I don't
don't.
know,
No, they
yeah,
don't.
they do.
Nah.
Yeah, they
No,
do.
they don't.
Like you're
because
speaking
we've
to
done
a very
this- we've done
small.
this
You're
exact-
speaking to a very small subset of the
No,
population.
every time
No,
we've
I
done this
am-
game, yeah. Go ahead. Jay.
I am general niggas. You know what I'm saying? I speak for the people. And when I think of red flag, I do kind of, you know what I'm saying, go
Bad
lean
behavior.
more so towards what Eddie was saying. But because like when Eddie starts like, no, that what the question actually means is, I'm like, oh, okay, I can understand like a different perspective of that question and how I would answer it.
This nigga say he
And I'm
was
not saying that
general niggas.
my mental definition of red flag is correct. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like if we're having the conversation, some people mean this when they say it. A lot of people mean this. I know, Alvin, you don't have your head to the ground because you got big brain. But most people when they go, is this a red flag? They mean a lot of times they're thinking, oh, this is by itself bad. And I'm going, oh, this could be a good behavior, and it just indicates some shit, or could maybe be like when we talk about anime. It's like I think being a red flag could just be like, yo, it's not even a bad behavior. It's just that some of the what's a red flag? Being a Rick and Morty fan. There's nothing wrong with liking that show. It's an indicator based on that fandom. You know what I'm saying?
I would say, as the person who is the most tapped into what is the social media public square, which would be Twitter, that I fully understand like what that is, and like
all of your
and like
as a
most.
nigga, as a Twitter nigga, as a full Twitter
No, it is.
scholar.
No, it is. No, it is.
As a
Like
Twitter guy, I am the authority on what everybody thinks in the real world.
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that Twitter is a very good snapshot with the amount of Americans that are actively doing it. There are literal politicians that base their campaigns on it for that reason. So regardless of what you may think in this context of it, right? The people that actually do marketing research actually use Twitter as like a very like compelling tool for that reason, because it is a snapshot, because it's considered in the industry as the public square of how people like do stuff on social media. And when people have those conversations on Twitter and on social media, they will 100% think of it as like, is this a potential like like bad signal, right? That's literally the definition of a red flag colloquially, right? So what you're saying is like you just like mansplain the definition of a red flag.
Because I have literally like we can talk about like beautiful stats. That's wonderful. Don't care about none of that because we've literally had conversations on this podcast every time we're talking about what a red flag is, where we're wavering between those two definitions.
I think
cool.
I don't think we do.
Clarification.
I think most of the people have the conversation in the context that you're talking about, and you interpret it otherwise. Because like I've never had a conversation about this card game where like I wasn't talking about it as if it was what you just described.
I've seen you do exactly that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like your interpretation is kind of skewed because like you're thinking like us having our stance means that this is what we're thinking when we're actually approaching it from the perspective that you're saying, and you just disagree.
Okay, well
with
let's talk about this one then. So
yeah, not a red flag.
I would say when it comes to something like I would say when it comes to something like this that it could be because when somebody makes that much more money than you, one, I think they can come from such a different world than you that it can be difficult for them to like relate to what the fuck is going on with you. And two, there's a bunch of shit where the difference in like power dynamic is so big that even if they don't intend to, it can be an issue. Now, again, I'm going to mansplain again. I don't think that it means that necessarily it's going to be bad, necessarily it's going to be an issue, that they will abuse you or any of those things. But entering a relationship with someone who has massive difference in power and experience from you can be a problem in a relationship. And a lot of super rich motherfuckers ain't good people anyway, if we're being honest.
Actually, fair. I can see. I still think your initial premise for that mansplaining was complete bullshit, but I think your logic in this one is sound.
I think the fact that I ended up being, I think given the fact that we kind of came to the same thing means that my reasoning from the onset was reasonable, but fair enough. We can focus on this thing.
It doesn't.
I disagree. What y'all think?
Oh, Edward, I disagree. Just having tried
Boulder Dash
arguments.
It's not a red flag, and I think it's all subjective. I think it's relative to the individual. Like each individual has to determine if that's a red flag for them, and for me, it's not a red flag because I'm not intimidated by somebody's money. Like I'm excited. You make more money than me, awesome, right? Because that means you don't need me for money.
Oh, same.
So then there are other things that I bring into this relationship that in other ways that I support you that don't involve money. Great, right? But I'm not going to, sacrifice my integrity or sacrifice, like my dignity. I'm not going to sacrifice my human dignity because you make more money than me. But if that's something that, so if the money leads to a behavior from that person, then it could be problematic. But somebody making more money than me don't automatically mean they're going to be like that. So
no.
I would welcome it. Listen, I want to be a kept man. I don't want to be out here working.
That's the truth.
Oh, yeah. Please pay for me. Pay all my
bills.
Laid up in the
pay all of them.
Make my life.
I will make sure you got food when you get home, whether I cook it or not. I'll make sure it's there.
What's that Babyface song?
That's what I'm saying.
Soon as I get home from work. Well, I won't pay your rent because you got it. But everything else?
Massages, fucking bubble baths, food, whatever you need. Everything is handled when you come in. You don't have to worry about this. Home will be made, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I'll plan the vacation.
I'll be the homemaker. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Shoot.
Pussy staying eating.
Listen, I'm gonna be tearing
at
it
all
up.
times.
From the back.
Oh,
yes.
Absolutely. Honestly, if you're rich enough, I might eat ass, and I don't even do that. So
you ain't even gotta be rich enough. I'll do it.
Look, if it
that's
depends.
What I'm talking about.
Seven figures, yeah, definitely. 7 figures, I probably would fold. Yeah.
I goddamn 100 there, goddamn. I'm shit.
100 air?
Shoot.
This homeless.
Boy, I tell you, shit at the ass. Ass clean. I mean, every night, goddamn.
It's not. If she making $100 a year, that's disgusting. Holy shit.
Hundreds of dollars a year.
That's crazy.
I'm in a week.
Holy shit. Okay, a week. Okay,
a week.
Okay. That's
a week.
I gotta raise my standards up a little bit.
You gotta, yeah. She can afford wet wipes, maybe not a full, running shower, but
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
That's all you really need.
As long as my baby getting her whole bath in, hey,
Look,
come
man.
here, baby.
Oh man, yeah. The Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. We can, we can get something going.
I wanted to get my answer real quick.
Oh,
I wouldn't say like it's a red flag. However, like what could be like kind of like a red flag situation, and that personally for me is, what if I can't keep up with your lifestyle? Or like, there's times when like, you doing all this rich, extravagant, fancy shit, and you need a partner that's can, keep up with you and, do this rich, extravagant, fancy shit with you instead of having to compensate, not compensate, but, pay for the other person.
Fund them every time.
Yeah, fund them every time. So that would make me feel a little bit insecure. I ain't gonna lie. Don't mean I wouldn't try it out. Cause hey, I said I'd do some shit. I wouldn't do some shit and ended up doing it, a couple times. But yeah, that's like one thing that would make me a little bit wary, just being real with myself and where I'm at.
I think for me also it depends on how big the gap, because I mean y'all know how I've been moving. Like I certainly have no issue with a woman who's paid and who is supporting me financially or whatever. I think it comes down to like what she expects in return. Like when it comes to the whole financial, like if she was like making hundreds of thousands, because she went to school and she's like a doctor now, and we're fucking with one another and she's paying for stuff and she's cool with that, that's cool. If she's like a billionaire heiress and she's fucking with me, that to me would be a red flag, because I'd be like,
Cause you eating that ass.
He said the thing.
yeah, what type of person is this, and what is she used to getting with her money, and she didn't really have to earn it, and how does she view poor people, and what does she think this relationship? I would just, again, and it's like Pamela said, just don't mean does not mean bad behavior. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, this is a point to stop and have a conversation, like a red light. Let me just find out about her relationship past and shit like that.
I would let a billionaire objectify me, at least for a little while.
Sure. Absolutely not. Nah.
You gotta get the benefits. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, you know what? It depends. It depends.
I mean,
you down
a
with
billionaire.
objectification.
Nah, but a billionaire heiress, you also got to think it's racial implications to this situation.
Who says she ain't black?
No, let's be real. Let's be fucking real. Let's be fucking real.
Yeah.
Statistics say she's not black. Yeah. Come on. Because she's an heiress.
Well, you just wait. What? Let me not say that.
This nigga said you just wait. What the fuck? What does that mean?
Strike that from the record.
That's the Draya Michele logic. What the fuck? Wait for her to be born? What are you talking about?
This nigga just pulled some supervillain type shit. Like he's gonna fucking killmonger this. Like, just wait until I redistribute all this fucking wealth. Like what the fuck?
I know. Okay, I see.
Yeah, but
inventing one.
With Edward Overgo with the clunkiest fucking segue in the history of segues.
Hey, look, man.
Look, man.
That was clean, man. Fuck you. That was clean.
It was cleaner. It was cleaner than mine. So you're definitely in first place for this.
The bar was low, but yeah.
Look, man. If the bar is on the floor, you can't trip over.
My shit at least made sense, dog.
Barely, motherfucker. Like literally,
man,
just
get the
barely.
Fuck out of here. Just do the next.
The only way you win it is because mine made 0 sense and it was just dead silence. But anyway,
mine was clean.
So anyway. Whatever. Let's talk about Draya. Let's talk about Draya.
I still gave you the alley-oop, but you still fucking it up.
Is the ball in the fucking hoop, nigga? The ball is in the hoop. There we go. We're on to the next one. Let's go. Draya, let's go. Houston Rockets, Jalen Green.
Okay. I don't know, man.
Who's got opinions? Because I got them if nobody else does.
I'm gonna treat this like I would treat it if the roles were reversed, right? If it was a 39-year-old man and a 22-year-old woman, I would just judge them internally and keep moving. Cause like, I don't agree with it, but what am I going to do? That's a grown man with a grown woman. There's a big age difference. There's a big maturity difference, but everybody is making their own decision about being in this. And if the younger person wants to get out of it, they should seek help, and they're not about to come to me for help though. So like, I would care more if I was more connected to it, but ultimately, that's not for me to be concerned about. That's for him and his family and her family to be concerned about, because everybody is of age. So it don't matter what I think.
From my perspective, I think where the empathy kind of component comes in is being like, what do we accept as a culture? And it's like, cool, those not my people, but what happens when it is my people? Or what happens when it's the next person? I think we kind of we gotta collectively draw lines in the sands and go, here's what is and is not socially acceptable, and then that's what defines people's behavior. Like, public shaming works. When people know, yo, you cannot move like this. It is not acceptable, regardless of whether or not it's legal, regardless of whether or not people decided to do what they want to do. It changes what people decide to do. And so the next
But
person who decides, hey,
Where do
maybe
we
I
draw
should
the
do
line?
X, Y, and I'm not even, and I'm not even saying what I think on this topic yet. I'm just saying that's the value of speaking on something.
Yeah, I mean, on this one in particular, though, then my question then becomes, where do we draw the line on this particular topic?
Okay,
Because
this
it's
particular
like,
topic.
where do we draw the line?
Okay, yeah, this particular topic I think is only wrong because of the pregnancy. I think if you remove that, then there's a lot more room for this to just be like, cool, y'all are age gap. He's grown. He's made a decision. Cool. Maybe it's weird, but it's like it's a red flag, not a. I don't know the particulars of the relationship. The pregnancy shit, that to me predatory.
okay, all right, okay, I feel that. The shit that was
You think she
kinda
entrapped
was-
him?
I'm gonna let Josh go, but yes.
Shoot, boy. Okay, so there's a lot of meat on this bone. Pause.
It's a lot of bone in his meat. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. First of all, at some point in dating, like, age kind of becomes relative at some point, right? And I get it. Like, she's 39, he's 22. Like Christian said, where do you draw the line? But at the same time, who are we to fuck with someone else's free will and make it to a point where if you're in a genuine relationship or if you have a genuine connection with someone, you are no longer allowed to have that if you're both willing, consenting adults in this situation who are both responsible for your own actions and your own thoughts around this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not supporting it, because the shit that's fucked up to me about it that makes it super weird is that Jalen is this damn near the same age as her son.
Yeah.
Which that's the part that's like, that's, and then you
I
got a
think
baby
that's-
by him or about to have
yeah.
a baby.
I think the power dynamic question is the question, right? Because I think too much of the conversation leans to legality. And I think the power dynamic stuff is a little bit messier than people think, because, Draya's much older than him, but he's also much richer than she is. Like, this is a person who makes about $10 million a year. That's more than her entire net worth. And he's also a man that has certain implications in and of itself. But I do think that she holds more of the cards in regards to how they're interacting on an interpersonal level than he does. So I think the power dynamic is skewed in her favor, and I think she abused that.
Yes.
Just being frank. However, 100%. The thing that I think is weird in the context of these conversations is that people pick and choose when a 22-year-old is an adult and when a 22-year-old is not an adult. I think that's like the weirdest shit in the universe to me. I couldn't imagine somebody looking at 22-year-old Alvin and saying that, like, I wasn't a grown ass fucking man, because there's this pseudo scientific, like, oh, well, your frontal lobe is not fully developed, which is pop science, right? That's not real shit. So I do think that adds a level of kind of like eyebrow raising for me when you look at a 22-year-old grown ass man and say that he's not a grown ass man. But all that being said, I do think that the power dynamic is skewed towards Draya, despite any nuance in that situation, and I do think she abused the power dynamic to take advantage of a young
I'd be very curious
burgeoning superstar.
to see what you say about like the DiCaprios and all these niggas running around with like.
I think
20-year-old
DiCaprio. I think
girls or whatever.
DiCaprio does the same shit. I think DiCaprio does the same shit
Of what?
He's hereditary with it.
of utilizing a power dynamic to take advantage of younger women.
Okay, so for you, it's not about the them not being grown. That 21 is grown and is no issue dating a 50-year-old dude. It's just the power dynamic issue. Okay, fair enough. Because I don't even want to make this about a gender reverse. Because I feel like what if the genders reverse is like the dumbest way of approaching some of these conversations. But I'm just gonna say, I think that we have this cutoff conversation that I don't think is useful, and we combine it with this freedom of choice conversation and put them together to have a very like individualistic, low empathy approach to this. What we do is we go, at some point, you are no longer a child. Therefore, you're grown in all the ways that grown can possibly mean and are no longer deserving of any protections or any additional considerations. And I don't think that makes any sense, because 22 is not the same as 32, is not the same as 42, is not the same as 62. That doesn't mean that they're not all grown adults who are capable of thought and critical whatever, but it means that like You have different concepts of what your options are at 22 versus fucking 42. And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm not saying that I'm not even saying that a person in their 20s and a person in their 40s can't have a healthy relationship. I'm not even saying that yet.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when you just get out of college versus when you 2 divorces in, you'll have totally different like playbooks on what a relationship looks like. It's not even the fucking same, generally
Just how
speaking.
you go about getting
Yeah.
women, or like being.
Oh yeah, just how
like
you go
casual
approach the
sex.
shit.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
a
and I
whole
think,
different fucking thing. He's coming in with like, ooh, she might be a nice lady. She's coming in with a goal. Those are totally different mindsets. The other thing that I think gets combined in here, and this will be my last bit, is just we have this like you're an adult, therefore you're free, and I think that's a very like American model of what freedom means. And for me, it's not about saying you're not free to get fucked by this 39-year-old lady and have a child with her for the rest of his life. It's like, no, maybe we need some extra protection on what she's allowed to do. I don't know, framing it as like we're curbing the freedom of this young person is like, that's a very strange approach to the conversation to me.
yeah, and I think my thing is also you kind of need to play towards the median on this, right? So again, I think that a lot of people put themselves in that situation. So, or even not even necessarily putting themselves in a situation like thinking about like the average 39-year-old. So like the average 39-year-old is fucking stupid. Like like a 22-year-old Alvin could have manipulated the average 29-year-old, but like I also
100%.
wasn't the average 22-year-old. So I think that a
Yeah.
lot of people start thinking about like their own individual situations and they don't think about the fact that the average 22-year-old is stupider than the average 39-year-old, even though the average 39-year-old is stupid. And then you look at like differences in life experiences. Like you look at like the average NBA star now is a prep school kid that probably has like, you know, a mixtape that's been seen by like 1 million people. They've been spoon fed. They've been coddled. They go to fucking Sierra Canyon and all this fucking shit and all this what you call it. So like they're living different lives than is conducive to being able to adequately engage a 39-year-old Draya from a power
With a
dynamic
goal.
perspective.
Yeah, like, come on.
From a power dynamic
Fine as
perspective.
fuck.
Yeah, so I do think that in this particular case, like the issue is the power dynamic. But I do want to continue to say that like people just stop picking and choosing like what you think is grown and what you think is not grown, even though there are differences in experience and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think
And
people
you're
are not
right,
doing
Eddie.
that.
You're right, Eddie. No, people are 100% doing that. Twitter's the public square. I've seen
Well,
it.
yeah, or maybe I don't even think that's the thing that should be addressed.
I
think that's
that's
picking the
that's
wrong
more
thing. It's like,
I think we're discussing the same thing, and I'm kind of like picking at the edges, right? I think that's
yeah,
picking
that
at the
feels
edges.
like
I don't
picking
think
at the. That
yeah.
feels like picking.
which
at,
is which is
like
what
a
I'm
fringe,
doing.
You know,
Which is what I'm
okay,
doing.
fair
Like
enough.
I'm acknowledging that that's what I'm doing. Like I think we're aligned on the core.
Good for y'all. I love to hear. I love it when y'all niggas come together, man.
Yeah, I can't, because 39 is because now look, I've in my early 20s definitely was in situations just like this, but as Alvin said, wasn't the average young person, and people and women in their 30s is just as dumb as everybody else. So 100% a 22-year-old who is about they think can 100% ruin the life of a 39-year-old woman, but on average that is not fucking true. On average, that is not fucking true. And a woman who comes in and says like, hey, I want to have a baby by this person, and this nigga's not fucking thinking about what that means for the entirety of the rest of his life, what that means about his income, what that means, his emotional well-being. She does, though. She's already got a fucking kid. She's already got relationships under her belt. She knows that shit and should fucking know better. So it's very weird behavior to try
And she knows what it means to
get a
get in on the
22-year-old.
ground. On the
Yes,
ground floor,
exactly.
right? Like a
Come on,
22-year-old with a
very
$40
weirdo
million
behavior.
contract who's playing well, who's probably gonna get a $120 million contract. Like she
Right.
knows what this means.
And
like,
this motherfucker's thinking, oh, she's my girlfriend. Like, no, bro. She's taking advantage of you. Come on.
I doubt he's that gullible or stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
I mean,
people
oh,
in
she's
there-
my
people
girlfriend.
are
Like, I don't,
dumb.
bro. Like, yeah, trust me. Like, nigga, I be trying to reel back from saying that shit. But anyway, but
Exactly.
I know.
Because I'm dumb like that.
But I also will give people like, although people are dumb, including ourselves, myself. You know what I'm saying? But I also have to give people like a little bit more credit or leeway, and especially like him as a dude that's being successful. Like he's still has been. I'm pretty sure he's been having conversations around. Hey, watch out for these bad bitches or like just women who are gonna come after you. Like I'm pretty sure he's had that conversation many times. So there's a part
That
of him
don't
like
mean that
he but at the same time, like bro, like come on, like he's tall, attractive, athlete, whatever. Like he ain't no stranger to being around girls and knowing how the game work. Like
And
let's
she
not
ain't
act
no
like
stranger to being around, like, because
that's
I
not the
agree.
point that I'm
he's
making,
in
though,
that
because
world. Okay.
yeah, because I'm just saying like he's not as stupid as you making him out. Like he has no idea what's going
I'm
on
not
in this
saying he's a
situation.
moron. I'm saying he's not necessarily as equipped as she is.
And I agree
he's
with
stupid
that.
relative to her. Of course he moved, like he's in that world. He's had women who want him. He's got people in his ear. She is literally, as far as I can tell, an expert in that field. It's a mongoose versus a goddamn python or whatever the fuck that snake is, a cobra. Like, sure, he's in that world. She is an expert, a seasoned veteran in that world. So what are we talking about?
I mean, hey, she. It's hard to turn it down. I'm pretty sure. I mean, like,
Exactly.
I don't know who. We were not there during the night of conception, but I would not be surprised if Buddy goddamn happily, freely, and willingly shot that club the fuck up twice that night.
Oh my God.
What does willingly and
just
happily
saying.
mean? Like, people,
You ever had sex before?
we're talking about consent.
The fuck you mean? What are we talking about? What does happy and free and willing mean?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hold on, that was too good. You fucked up my whole flow. Like, what I'm saying is that a person consenting in it, because this is what all of these conversations around age gaps and all that kind of stuff is. Like, these women that DiCaprio was fucking with, yeah, they willingly, freely, blah blah blah, all of that shit. Relationships are far more complicated than a single sweaty decision made in a bedroom. They're so much more than that. And having a fucking baby is going to dictate what this man's life looks like when he's 50. He hasn't been through this. This is his first kid. It ain't hers. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying he's not intelligent. I'm saying she knows more about what this scenario means than him. She's coming in with a goal that he maybe hasn't fully considered, and that should be taken into account. Like, come on.
Yeah, and I get that. It was just the way that you were speaking on it made it sound like, oh, this guy has no idea. He's such a victim. Like, like he has no agency.
He could be. We don't know.
You know,
like maybe
I mean, he
he's
could
really
be, but
thought
it's
about
like-
this and maybe he's really thought about this and been like, no, I'm totally okay with having a baby. But most people don't even think about having a baby. They just have a fucking baby.
Bro,
Most men especially don't think about the shit.
And that's the thing, bro. Because let me not even say that, because black men been doing a hell of a job with raising their kids. So
Relative to the field, 100%.
relative to the field, but
Relative to the field,
we're
we're leading the pack with a very low expectation. But continue, Josh.
so especially a black man in his position who knows he's going to be set for at least the next 15 years, if he doesn't get injured. Having a baby when you have that sort of financial resources for a lot of these young guys ain't really that big of a deal, because they think, oh yeah, I want to be a dad. I want to be a great dad. But like you said, they don't take into a full account of what exactly this might mean, especially when you have to take into the full consideration of the person that you're having a baby with. And you're going to have to be engaged with this motherfucker as a co-parent. And you probably ain't even ready to be no damn father your damn self. So I get that.
That's
All
all
right,
I'm saying.
so-
It's an emotional investment.
So, Christian, I want to give you the last word on this before we wrap. You got anything to add?
Sorry, we just goddamn my fault, Christian.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, man. No, nah, not at all. I think everybody's feelings are valid. At the end of it, I think everybody's feelings and opinions are valid, and I think that it's hard to apply them to this situation because we just don't know. We don't know the details. We don't know how mature he is. We don't know her level of maturity because we don't know them as people. And again, like, if he was my son and he brought her home, I would have an issue with it. I'd be like, bro, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
But-
man. Yeah.
But that's tied. That will be tied to my relationship with him, right? So like, because it's so far away from me, I'm not that invested in it to where like I want to speak out and be like, oh, she's wrong. I don't know what they got going on. Like, I agree with the power dynamics. I agree with all that stuff. I still don't know what's going on.
So what would your son have to say, or this old lady that he brought home have to say to you for you to be like, you know what, fair enough, cool?
For me, it would be a conversation with my son. Just like I would say tell me about your relationship with her. Like, what are your
Mm.
expectations? What are her expectations? What are you in this for? Like I want to learn more about what he hopes to get out of it, what his expectations are, because ultimately it's his decision. And then I would tell him, be careful about stuff like this, as we have the conversation. And I would say, that's a huge gap in lived experience. And that big of a gap can cause a whole lot of issues because you got different perspectives on life. Like, but at the end of the day, even if it's my son, especially if it's my son who probably makes way more money than me
Mm.
and probably is taking care of me financially too, to a certain extent, it's like, I mean, you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
What I'm gonna
Cause
tell you,
it's
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. So I can give you my opinion, just like right now. I can give you my opinion on it, but what weight is that gonna carry on this matter? Nothing. Cause Dre is still pregnant, she's still gonna have
Ah,
that baby. They still gonna co-parent whether they together or not. Cause she already made it clear she not concerned with being romantically tied to him for the long term.
Yep.
She
Yeah,
wanted to have a
the
baby.
baby.
She wanted
and that's
another
the
one before.
problem,
Yeah.
man.
Oh my God, I got
Yeah,
one
that's
But I
wild
don't
little,
shit.
think I don't think
one.
I don't think that and so I actually agree with Dre on that. Like I don't think you have to be romantically tied to somebody to co-parent with them. Like you don't have to you don't have to be committed to being with this person forever before you decide to have a baby with them.
But they gotta fully
Because
understand the implications of that, which at
got
22 is
to.
very unlikely you do. It's
Yeah,
very unlikely that you
Sure.
do. It's possible, very unlikely that you do.
yeah.
All right, all right,
I
all right. I'm
totally
keeping
Sorry,
us
my
agree.
on.
fault.
I'm
Yeah,
keeping
let
us
me.
on track here, Josh. You want last word? I feel like this is burning in your chest.
It is.
Let's
It
go.
is.
Robitussin.
What was really the red herring of like, okay, this is kind of nasty. This is
Nigga,
this is
you missed
this.
a golden opportunity to just say red
I
flag. But
know,
go ahead.
right? I
What
know,
even? I
right?
don't even think that's
I'm.
a red herring. Like that's not even the right word.
I was thinking about like I was no, because like in my head, let me explain. In my head, I was thinking like red flag and canary in the coal mine. So like bird,
Red
red
canary.
herring.
Yeah,
Fair
got
enough.
you.
Fair
Ain't
enough.
that a
Go ahead.
fish though?
Um,
Okay.
no, canary in the coal mine is like a warning of danger. Whatever. But when the pregnancy rollout was disgusting.
Oh,
The pregnancy fucking rollout and the commodification of one's own body and life was just really nasty here. And that was I'm like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? Like that really just kind of made me feel like, yeah, this your mind is somewhere else where I can understand why you're getting a lot of backlash. But that's all I had.
I don't know about that one, man. We might have to revisit that one on the next live. Always be plugging. Always be plugging. If you want live content, make sure you sign up for the Patreon. But if you are in a relationship with a billionaire heir or heiress, and they're asking you to do things that you may not be comfortable with, you may be seeing a red flag. However, if you are the old head in the club, approaching 40 and still trying to holler at 22-year-olds, you may be waving a red flag. This has been Waving the Red Flag podcast. It has been Edward Overgoal, aka Edward Button, aka Extreme Sports Eddie. Josh, it has been Pastor Kristian A. Smith making a phenomenal guest appearance as usual. Make sure that if you want that bonus content, like I just mentioned, I'll always be plugging, that you subscribe to the Patreon, subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, basically everywhere that the podcast is open. Make sure that you're looking at the appropriate mechanisms to subscribe to get all of that bonus content and making sure that you're getting all notifications as soon as we drop. Participating in the live episode is a good time. We do a lot of fun stuff. Make sure, again, that you are checking us out whenever we drop. Christian, where can we find
Christian A. Smith is spelled right there on the screen. It's Christian with a K. You can catch me on TikTok for as long as we have access to it, and Instagram. And you can catch me on Holy Smokes Cigars and Spirituality podcast. Just go to holysmokesmovement.com and you can connect there. So yeah, always a pleasure, gentlemen. Always a pleasure.
That's
Privilege
big
and
facts.
an
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always spiritual, always holy, always divine. Thank you, as always, for real.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. The love is genuine, and it's I feel it. I feel it's mutual every time. You know, like I said, this is like my elevated barbershop talk.
Yeah.
We
go
definitely
everywhere.
took that
We go
when you said
everywhere.
it. We definitely took that.
Oh
when you
yeah,
said it.
100%. We changed
Yeah,
the
that's-
YouTube
like, that's
banner and
the
everything,
thing.
nigga. We said,
Elevator.
Your mark is on the channel.
Yeah, right.
we said, oh wait a second, that's because we was looking for a phrase.
Yeah.
We just had all kind
I
of goofy shit.
It's legit. It's legit. I love it.
We said an academic barbecue. What are we? You know,
Yeah,
Didn't quite-
what do we do? Damn it!
what do we do over
Academic
here?
barbecue does not sound like a place I want to go. I'll tell you that much.
No,
The brisket is bad. You know,
Yeah.
the mac and cheese ain't cheesy enough.
Shit
You know what I'm
tastes
saying?
like water.
Yeah, a ratchet symposium. I don't know we don't know what it's a mixture of something, but we can't quite.
As soon as you walk in, shake that ass, bitch. Let that coochie breathe. That's not even the real song.
Yeah.